Hey everybody, welcome to another round of Saturdays for the Boys. I'm Thomas and I'm joined with
Lauren from Hops Geek News and Nerd Initiative.
That's right. You're here at Nerd Initiative and we are talking about Saturdays are for the boys. I almost said that really weird. We are pretty much just focusing on the mini series of Herogasm for this one, which ironically enough is episode 6 in season 3. And so let's dive into it.
Yes. So Herogasm. Obviously this episode, none of these episodes are for little ears, but this one especially is not for little ears. And if you've seen the show, then you know. And I will say that after reading the comic, I was certain that they weren't actually going to do Herogasm in the show. I thought like the club in the early seasons with the soups was like their version. I was like, nah, they're not going to go that far. And how
Right.
wrong I was proven. So yes, number one
you,
out
you're
of
not the
six.
only one though. Like there was a
I'm
lot of
sure.
people that were like, they're not gonna do that. There's no way they can show that on Prime, and then they did a version of it.
Yeah.
So you were not alone.
And they brought in adult actors and everything. And I heard because they filmed it during
What?
COVID, I heard
Yeah.
they had like giant things of lube and giant things of hand sanitizer everywhere, and people were sometimes getting them mixed up.
Oh my, oh my God. That's
So,
amazing. I did
yeah,
not know that. Man, well, they did a fantastic job trying to make it work. It still is very much rated R, I would say. And I didn't know about the
absolutely.
adult actors in there too. But while
Makes
we go
sense.
through issue number 1, I'm gonna pull up some stuff behind the scenes.
Sounds good. So, issue number one, Babylon. So, Homelander addresses the country and he tells them that there is an alien species that is back to attack again. They already targeted the G Men, who remember last week we talked about that all of a sudden all the G Men were dead
Mm-hmm.
because Vought killed them. But, you know, they're playing it all off like they were targeted by these aliens. And now all of Earth's heroes and many of the villains, too, are off to go fight this alien species to keep Earth safe. Meanwhile, some ladies of the night prepare for Herogasm and they're ready to earn their 100K for the week. We see Stormfront, who was previously a villain, and we see Soldier Boy in bed with Homelander. He wants to leave Payback and join the Seven, and he's giving it all. And he says, "This like hecko golly gee, like this Soldier Boy is not the soldier, is not Jensen Ackles." So Annie is freaked out by all of this, and she actually calls Huey, who thinks she's at a work conference. Meanwhile, he's at Herogasm too. So Huey and Annie still don't know exactly who each other are or what they're doing. So of course, I finally get to pull up my picture of
Really,
Jensen
up until this
Ackles.
point, still? Wow.
Yeah, so it doesn't come until Omnibus 4 that they end up revealing to each other who they are.
That's incredible. Like it, yeah, because it's already such a major plot point in the show. They're very much, dating at this
Yeah, it
point.
happens
I think this is
quick.
the season where, yeah, she
Sorry. I didn't
is like
mean.
they're almost sharing an apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they kind of had
Yeah.
to push it forward a little because I feel like it's harder. Like in the comic, she's not as visibly seen and it's not like her face is covered or anything. So I felt like they just really couldn't have done that, especially with Huey was more into the soups in the comic. But one thing
Mm.
from this issue, you know, I mentioned that Soldier Boy and Homelander had slept together. There was a nod to this in the trailer for season 5. So and they're not. I should clarify, they are not father and son in the comics. So I feel like that's very
Okay. I was
important to
gonna say,
say.
okay. I was wondering if I misheard that, and I was like, oh, maybe they, I don't
No, no,
know.
no. We're not
I,
doing
d- yeah,
incest. No,
somehow
no,
I thought it was non-Targaryen. And then
no.
now that you've clarified that, I realize like, oh wait, that is weird, but they are not father and son in the comics.
No, and there's actually more than one Soldier Boy. So we'll meet the original Soldier Boy, which I feel like
Mm,
is more of what they kind of based Jensen's character after.
okay.
But we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, so this is like a super all American, good golly, Mr. Homelander. I hope I get into the seven kind of thing. And so
Oh.
obviously in the trailer we saw, Soldier Boy ask Homelander, did you me? And he's like,
Yeah, yeah.
no. And I that there it is. That's just a nod to that.
Ah, dang, that is a deep cut for the fans of the comics in the trailer. Well done. If you think the show doesn't listen to the fans, the trailer points to something different. Like it tells you right there. That's awesome.
Absolutely. And if anything, it just comes across as like funny.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
totally.
mean, Homelander's reaction was great too, because he's many things, but that he draws a line sleeping with his dad.
Right, right. Like that is too far. You've like killed millions of people in various ways. I don't know millions, but you've killed at least thousands of people in various ways. But yeah, sleeping with a super hot guy is out of the question. All right, cool. Yeah.
Only if it's his dad.
Yeah.
He'll sleep.
Oh yeah, and it's his dad. Okay, that's fair though. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Homelander's got standards, okay?
Yes. Yes, he does. Weird standards, but he's got them. So issue 2 is Amsterdam. So a naked Homelander. So we just see Homelander in the sky naked, and he shoots a plane out of the sky for absolutely no reason. And then Vic
Oh,
the Veep shows up to Herogasm. So we all remember that this is not Vic the Veep that we're familiar with in the show. They've renamed her Victoria Newman is
yep.
vice president elect. In the comic, it's Victor Newman, and he is vice president, and he is an idiot. So we talked about that quite a bit last week.
Yep.
So we learn Dakota Bob has upped security since 9/11, and not all Vic's people are Vought now. So remember 9/11 too was the Brooklyn Bridge incident caused by the Supes. It was not the World Trade Center.
Right. Yep.
So we also learn they're about to make Dakota Bob, who barely has. So they're about to off Dakota Bob so they can make Vic the Veep president. And Vic the Veep has like barely a double-digit IQ. He's very, very unintelligent. We see Crimson Countess, who was played by, I was about to say Andrea, by Lori Holden. She was
Nice.
Soldier Boy's love interest in the show. So
Yeah,
we see
she
her.
really wants to protect the apes.
Yes, yeah.
Remember she's that old song about like protecting the monkeys or apes or
It's like
sorry if I
apes
don't know
don't
the difference.
cry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She does
That's
not
it.
care about apes in this. So
Okay.
she is not happy because the Vic the Veep basically kind of assaulted her until Stillwell calms her down and the rest of Payback, telling them he knows they're all second to the 7, but he's got a group in New York and he needs them to take care of them. So
Mm,
obviously this is Payback in the show. And so in the comic, yes, they're sick of being second best. In the show, obviously, it was more of a prequel.
right. They like pre entered the world before the 7 did in the show.
Yeah. Whereas in this, they're just like, second best. And, they don't make as much money as the G-Men or the 7. So they don't care about them as much. But secretly, they're all trying to get onto the 7 and not telling each other.
Got it.
And
Okay.
I believe, is this Swatto? Or maybe that's Gunpowder. I'm not sure. But I know Swatto, I believe, dies in this scene in season 3.
Yeah, because even Black Noir gets kind of blown up, but he stays
Yeah.
alive, right? And so, yeah, I think Gunpowder is in there. I don't know which one would be Swatto from the comics, but what does he look like in the comics?
He's got wings, so I don't think that's Swatto. I think that is Gunpowder. I'm trying to look a little
Oh,
closer. I
okay.
can't tell. But
It's weird because
Swatto's,
like from this picture, it almost looks like two Black Noirs.
yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah.
But Swatto in the comics is or in the show is the one that flew up and like got blown out of the sky and killed by the Russians.
Oh, okay. Yep. I remember
So,
that. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
but so
I'm digging
I
it.
keep clicking on Soldier Boy. I don't know what happens. I promise you, I don't mean to keep doing that.
Yeah, you're like, and Homelander, Soldier Boy, and the
And
Payback,
back to
Soldier
Soldier
Boy.
Boy.
I know Jensen Ackles is one of your faves, but
I even got a little Soldier Boy right here on my mic, so I can look at him whenever I want.
there you go. Yeah. And now if you're watching on YouTube, you will too.
There you go, Soldier Boy. I'm just gonna keep that there forever. All
Nice.
right. So number 3, Vegas. So I will say the taking care of that's a little foreshadowing, and when we get into the rest of Omnibus 3, we will talk about that when the payback goes after the
Okay.
boys. So
Perfect.
Herogasm, number 3, Vegas. So as the boys launch an attack on Homelander, Huey actually gets sexually assaulted by Black Noir, and this kind of causes him to like freeze in a moment of shock. So he
Oh man.
lies though, and he tells the boys he hit his head, and that's why he was gone for so long. Because remember, they're spying on Herogasm.
Got it. So Herogasm in the comics though is spanning all these different countries too, or different places.
No, they all go to one like resort. So they told
Oh,
the
okay.
world, "Hey, we're gonna go fight these aliens," and they all fly to this one resort that's like completely cleaned out of regular tourists for like the week. And
Got
so it's
it.
all like extra paid staff and a bunch of sex workers are there. Funny enough, they did that in the show for real. And so That's where they all
Crazy.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm trying to make sense of like maybe I'm getting confused with what happened in the show and here, but so they end up in Vegas. Where were they before in the comics?
So the titles are not actually the places. They're just like what they're titled. So that's
Oh, okay,
I see
okay.
that. Yeah, I that does because it does seem odd. So yeah, it's Babylon, Amsterdam, Vegas, Sparta, Hollywood, and
Right,
Gala,
right. So I'm like, are
Gatha.
they going to these all these
Nope.
places for Herogasm? Oh, okay.
I
Got it.
don't know. I don't know why. I feel like I should have looked into
That
that,
seems like
but
an
I don't
interesting
know
fun
why.
fact we will have to drop online. Yeah, because I was like, wait, like Herogasm in the comic sounds like they're flying around the world, and each part of the world is having like its own day of Herogasm or something. I was like, that is crazy.
When
Where
you
in the
first asked that,
show,
I'm like, why does he think that? Oh, that makes complete sense why you would think that. Yeah. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Okay, cool. I'm not crazy. All right.
No.
Okay, so cool. So that's just the name of the comic. They are still spying on them at the resort. And how does Huey get separated from the team so that Black Noir can,
So
assault him?
they're all just like in different positions when they're staking it out. And so they have comms and stuff, but Huey kind of goes like black for a while. And so Butcher goes and checks on him, but at the point Huey's, that just had a traumatic experience happen to him. So he's kind of like just
Wow.
hiding a little bit. And
Yeah. This is so dark. God, this comic is so bad.
it really is, but
Not in like a bad writing way. Just like it's very dark. Like it's amazingly well written, but like, geez, I don't. Yeah, you gotta have a strong constitution for this.
No, absolutely. But I mean, Huey did get assaulted in the show when he was dressed as the web
That's
slinger guy.
that's right. Oh, that's right. In season 4, when they go
Yeah.
to Tech Knight's house for like the oligarchs party and they go downstairs. That's right. God, that scene was brutal to look at.
Mhm.
Okay, so they used that I guess they referenced it from this arc in the boys comic.
Yeah, I felt like that
Interesting.
they were taking 2 points. Like Huey goes undercover with the G Men or G Wiz, and then
Hmm.
Huey gets assaulted in this. And you did see Huey like broke down with Starlight. It was right after his father had passed too. This is in the show where
Yeah.
he's made a comment about what Ashley did to him, whatever.
Hmm.
And he's like, I'm not okay. And he starts crying, and
Right.
Starlight comforts him.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Man, well done on Jack Quaid on that part. Yeah, that those scenes, especially the one in Tech Knight's house. Oof, it gave me the ick. I really liked that episode. Like there's like so much good acting, but just that scene is so hard for me to watch. I remember when we were reviewing it on different podcasts, like I had to fast forward through it the second watch. I was like, I can't do this. Like that.
yeah,
Yeah. But
it's
amazing to
definitely a
Jack
keep
Quaid.
looking away.
Yeah, he crushed it in that scene because so
Mhm.
believable.
Yeah. And then them tickling him and him laughing while he's being tied up and he didn't know the safe word. Poor guy.
I know, I
That was
know. I was like,
terrible.
give him the safe word.
I know. It's Zendaya. I'll never forget it now. It's Zendaya. Um,
Zendaya, that's right.
so yeah, so he does end up lying and he tells the boys he got hit. The soups all think it was just another soup who OD'd. Oh, so there was actually like a what they were going after something, and these all of a sudden this superhero that they had like attacked or whatever like fell from the sky. And
Ooh,
so they didn't really think like, oh, we're being spied on, oh, Butcher and the boys are here or anything. They're just like, oh, this is just another soup who OD'd, because it happens a lot, because they're also doing a lot of drugs and stuff while they're out, while they're having fun in Herogasm. That's probably why it's called
mhm.
Vegas. I feel like there are
Okay.
little nods to it. The next one's Sparta, and yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
um they let all the hijinks continue. They're just like, whatever, keep, doing very inappropriate things. Let's go. Then we learn that Maeve, Homelander, and Black Noir go very back, the three of them, but it's also very mysterious. Like they don't actually know their past. We also learned that
Got it.
Stillwell, which our Stillwell obviously is very different in the show versus in the
Right.
comic. But Stillwell was actually Stan Edgar's protege. So it turns
Oh,
out
okay. Yeah.
so it turns out this stunt that the boys were doing when they launched the one soup off the building was they were kidnapping an agent Michael Lucera, who is United States Secret Services. And he is the Secret Service for Vic the Veep. And mission
Oh, okay.
accomplished. They capture him.
Okay. That's interesting. It's interesting Stillwell is still alive at this point in the comics too. Because I
Yeah.
mean, right? Like she gets killed off first, like really quickly. I feel like. I mean, at the end of season one, but still, she was such a main actress in the show. Okay, so Stillwell's still alive. Then
Well,
okay, another difference right there.
I was trying to think if Ashley was in the comics, and I don't think she was. And I feel like Ashley was just thrown in there as, she's the Stillwell replacement. But of course, she's a
Yeah.
completely
Oh,
different
interesting.
character.
She's such a big character too. I can't believe she doesn't have like a comic counterpart, but I can't imagine the show without her. So it's a really good
Right.
addition.
And maybe she does, and I don't remember. Maybe she'll pop up, but I don't think she does. I also don't remember what happens to Stillwell. It's amazing how much you can forget.
Yeah, yeah. I can forget a lot, so it's probably, doesn't amaze a lot of people, especially my wife.
I feel for your wife. I've been there with my husband. You don't remember this conversation? We were sitting at this table. We talked about this. No,
Oh yeah. Yeah. She probably used that once a day. Sorry, babe. But yeah, we yeah,
but
this does sound familiar though. Okay.
but at least it makes it fun to reread. All right, so
Yeah,
now
yeah,
we're
yeah.
in Sparta. So I don't know if they're
Okay.
going to kick somebody off something or what. So let's find out. So the boys, they really wanted Vic the Veep. So they're trying to get him. Turns out this
Mhm.
Secret Service dude is actually concerned about Vought being in the White House. Most of the other
Oh,
security people are Red River personnel, which is the orphanage in the show.
right. Is this the time we hear about Red River in the comics?
I think they had mentioned them before, but it never seemed like it was an orphanage.
Got it. It was more like a passing like something Red River, and you're like, okay, cool, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then now they're basically explicitly stating like Red River Orphanage.
No, they're not. Well, in the show they are, but in the
Yeah.
comic, I feel like it's more of a probably soups that are trained because it's their Secret
Mm,
Service detail.
got it. Okay. See, that's another thing. Because yeah, I think in season two we go to Red River, right? Like, don't we go? Isn't that where
That's,
Lamplighter is?
oh
I
no,
mean,
he's at
it's
the
definitely where.
hospital that Stormfront was experimenting on. Yeah, it's
Oh,
where
that's
Marie
right.
came from, and it's where Teddy
Yes.
ends up at, and it's where Newman was.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
then her
That's yeah.
daughter ends up there at the end of season four.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
End of
Okay.
season four, yeah, because then
Yeah.
Stan
Okay.
has her
Okay.
and Genevieve.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that they kind of changed up from the comics to the show, but it's this perfect setting. It's like Gray Malkin Lane. You know that name because it always comes up, right? I mean, Vought Tower is simple because Vought's the company, but like Red River is one of those places that constantly pops up in the boys show. So
Yeah,
it's
and it's
yeah.
subtle. Well,
Uh-huh.
they brought it more into the fold in Gen V because we got to actually go to Red River and all that there.
Right. I think Huey does go there, but I can't remember if it's in season two or three that he
You're
goes there to
right.
track something down. Yeah, remember?
Yeah, he's getting files on Newman, and he pretends that him
That
and Starlight are adopting a baby. That's
that's what it
right.
is. Yeah, and it must be season three. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, we're making even more connections to this season and this current run, or like this omnibus, which is awesome.
Yeah. I don't know how the people write these shows and or the comics or based on. It's amazing. All
Yeah.
right. So yeah, so Lucero, said he doesn't like what's going on 9/11. Dakota Bob had actually ordered that commercial airline be shot down because they were trying to avoid a mass casualty, and they're like, shoot it down so it doesn't run into anything and destroy more lives. Then
Hmm.
Vic the Veep actually knocks out Dakota Bob and repeatedly says, "Tell NORAD to order weapons hold. Tell NORAD to order weapons hold," just on like repeat.
Hmm.
That's when the Seven actually step in on 9/11, and they made the situation worse, and they crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge. So Dakota
Hmm.
Bob was not supposed to be in that room when it happened. He was actually on his way somewhere else and ended up going there because the states were being attacked, or
He
America was
was
being attacked.
yeah. He's like Hamilton, except for the opposite. With that song, "The Room Where It Happened," the
There
room
you
where it
go.
happened.
He was in the room where it happened.
He
Uh,
was, yeah.
So meanwhile, Stillwell tells Vic that Bob will be dead within a year, and Vic's VP will be from Vought. So they're like, you're going to end up being the new president, and we're going to provide you with the VP from Vought. So then they'll have the president and the vice president in their pocket, and that
Hmm.
they'll oversee these two new Vought handpicked president and vice president will oversee the adoption of the superhuman power by the U.S. Department of Defense. That's their
Mm.
plan.
Got it. This is okay, and that storyline is moved up a little bit. We already see that in season two. That's kind of happening with especially the head popping scene where we first find out that Victoria is a soup, and then this season, let's see, season three is her kind of revealing to people that she's a soup. This is like the season where Annie is getting told that she's going to be the co-chair of the Seven, and they go to that morning show, news show, and she's sitting next to the Homelander, and he doesn't like what the news reporter says, so he calls her a hack, and then let's see, Starlight and Victoria go to the office, and basically Victoria says, "Hey, let's work together," and he's like, "I'm not. I'm done being used," and so. She's like, okay, fine, whatever. Victoria leaves, but gives Annie a nosebleed before leaving the room.
Oh yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah, it was. And it was like, I was like, dang, Victoria Newman's a good villain. Also,
She
like,
is.
but also, this is the first time you think, can somebody actually beat Homelander? You're like, if she has the ability to just explode heads, like, maybe she can just do that to Homelander. I don't know. But it was, yeah, it was a really cool kind of, I guess, growth of her character.
I feel like the issue though is as soon as Homelander could sense a nosebleed, I feel like he would just like 360 spin around and just kill her.
I
Like,
know. I think that's one thing we kind of missed out on, which I don't know if they're going to get in the comics, but it would have been cool to see some type of fight between them. But instead, and I think we're going to dive more back into Herogasm, we get to see the Soldier Boy plus Homelander plus Butcher fight, which I think makes this episode so incredible.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that scene when all of a sudden Butcher and Homelander are on the same page to protect Ryan. That was
Yeah, yeah,
fantastic.
that was awesome.
Right. So issue number 5, we're in Hollywood. So it just keeps going. Okay. So they let Lucero go, and it's awards night for the soup. So this makes sense. It's Hollywood, it's awards night. As
At
as
Herogasm, like Herogasm has awards.
yes, so they have their own little awards night, and it's part of the whole thing. And yeah.
Who was like, let's hey, everybody stop the drug use and stop the orgies. It's time to give awards.
Yeah, basically, yes. That's exactly
Like
what
what?
happens.
Okay. Okay.
So, as Huey is processing what happened to him, he starts to wonder why Black Noir didn't go and rat out the boys. So he knows they're there, and he never tells anybody. So Huey's
Oh.
like, once he's like, okay, this happened to me, then he's like, well, wait, this doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't he go and let them know? So
Right, right.
Homelander ends up winning Best Superhero, which apparently it always goes back and forth from Homelander to Soldier Boy. And he's about to
Hmm.
make an announcement, and suddenly Stillwell walks in, so he stops. Homelander had actually paid one of the ladies of the night to distract Stillwell, and he caught on and interrupted. And then all the other soups have no idea what he was about to say, have no idea why he abruptly stopped, and we don't know either yet.
Ooh, they cut the does the scene end right there in the book?
Yeah,
Wow. Okay. Intriguing. You're like, okay, can't wait till issue number 6 comes out.
yeah, but then they don't answer it in issue 6 either. I don't even think they've answered it in this omnibus.
Really? Holy smokes. That would drive me insane. Man, if you okay, so if you've read the comics and you're listening to this, please drop your thoughts on reading this issue for the first time because that for me like those dangling threads are like the bane of my existence as a nerd reviewer. Like I have the hardest time letting those kind of things go, especially when it's so interesting and juicy like that. So we don't find out what Homelander was gonna say. Do we even find out um what was Stillwell says in that
He
moment or
doesn't,
no?
he doesn't say anything. He just looks at Homelander. It's like he knows
Wow.
how to control him.
Damn. That's good.
Yeah. All right.
Juicy.
So we wrap up with a Golgotha. So, with the help of Lucero, the boys actually nab a few of the Red River service members. That ends up backfiring because at the end of the day, even if they guys think that they're in the wrong, they worry about themselves. They're like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
got my own life to deal with. I can't take this risk. So
Right.
Lucero ends up actually going out, taking down one of the bad guys. And the female does take down some more of them. And then we see all the soups flying home, wondering what the hell Homelander was going to say.
Wow. Interesting. This is a big turn, right? And it's a big turn from what we get in the show. And in the show, it's such a powerful scene, right? The whole orgy's going on. We got Soldier Boy about to explode, and I think he does. He forgets what happens, and then Butcher comes in, and then Huey comes in. They all fight Homelander more, and like everybody's like most of the heroes are kind of either like exploded or dead, and yeah, and then Homelander gets like he gets away right in time, and that's kind of it. So completely different ending from the book to the show.
Yeah. And Homelander's never really involved in any of the like sex stuff really in the show. I mean, he has
Yeah.
relationships with, Stillwell and then Stormfront, but yeah, he doesn't really engage in any of that, it seems like, in the show.
That's true. And he's a big part of that in the comics. Like he's all up in Herogasm. Maybe
He's
poor
not,
choice of words.
well, I mean, he was in a private room with Soldier Boy, so he's not as like in the mix of it. Like the rest of them are like multiple people on each other in the pool and all sorts of stuff. And of course, their
Yeah.
superpowers are doing things. And they make a comment that not all of the hired women there survive.
Oh geez. Yeah. I think that's true for the show too, which in not encouraging anybody to like go down this path mentally, but if you did, it kind of does make sense. People have extra strength and all this kind of stuff. So they went there in Twilight, people. So,
I
like they were
haven't seen
saying,
that.
you haven't seen Twilight?
No. I watched
Wow.
like 5 minutes at
Lucky
a friend's house and I was like, I can't be in this room. This is terrible. And I walked
you.
out.
Well, lucky you, because that's what my wife makes me watch every Halloween.
Every
All six,
Halloween.
every six movies, because she doesn't like scary movies. So we watch the
Ah.
box set of Twilight. Yay. But yeah, there is something in Twilight that relates to this. We don't have to go there, but anyways. Okay, interesting. Is there we kind of do see that as well in the show though that soups are using their powers to engage in activities. I got to say though, it's again very adult. Hopefully you're an adult listening to this.
If you're a
But it would be
child, oh my
something
gosh,
it
where
would
are
be
your
something I would wonder
parents?
about. Well, sorry, what was
Yeah.
that?
I said, if you're a child, where are your parents?
You're right, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
and they do have fun with the art. I mean, Derek Robertson does not hold back. I'm not sure if he was specifically the one that drew the Herogasm stuff, but when he is the artist, he does not hold back. He is happy to create all of the different things. And we
yeah.
also learned coming up
Okay.
that Kamiko, the females, her great grandfather, like sold dildos. And at first I'm like, that's so weird. And then I remembered in the show, she had a whole scene fighting with dildos.
That's right. Okay, that's an interesting connection. Yeah, like why yeah, at the time when I remember watching the episode, like it's so random. They try to work it in with the guy she's killing who has like the hidden wall of like all the seven styled dildos. And so that does make sense, but what a random way to just write that into a comic. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. Derek Robertson did do the cover here that really sets the tone for Herogasm and what we can expect.
Okay,
So
very nice.
yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much Herogasm, guys. Not too much happens in this run. I think it's a lot for shock value, and then obviously we see that more about Dakota Bob and I think the biggest reveal was what actually happened on 9/11 and how that was able to get by, because
Mm,
we saw the guy in the plane go, "Are you sure? I can take it. I'm ready to take the shot to take down that airliner." And then we do go more into 9/11 in Omnibus 3.
okay. That makes sense. Interesting. Kind of fills in some gaps, but it also leaves you with a ton more questions. If you want, though, I also have pulled up some fun facts about this episode that premiered on Prime. Should we go through some of
Ooh,
them?
hell yeah.
Okay. So the deep seeking is, I think this kicks off the episode, and I love the crap out of this because everybody was roasting Gal Gadot about this. But the deep seeking Imagine is a parody off Gal Gadot's video, and several other celebrities recorded who posted something in 2020 singing the same song after 6 days of self quarantine.
I do remember hearing about that.
Remember? You didn't see it?
Yes, I did. I think I saw like a clip of it, but I think I only saw it because of the boys thing.
Oh yeah, it was going everywhere, and at first I was like, "Oh, it's kind of adorable," and then people were like, "These privileged celebrities who are so out of touch," and yada. And I was like, "Oh wait, yeah, that's true too." So, anyways, when it popped up on the boys, I was hysterical. I was like, "That's so funny! Like nobody is safe. That's just an amazing,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was just gonna say that nobody is safe when it comes to Eric Kripke.
definitely." Okay, so let's see. When Starlight and MM enter Herogasm, a woman's voice can be heard off camera saying, "Blank on my hump." This is a direct lift from the comics where a character named
Yes.
She-Hemoth, based off She-Hulk, says the same line. Do
Yes,
you remember
and
that?
I absolutely do remember that because I remember thinking, well, that's gross. I think it's pretty early on. I wonder if I can find it.
Okay, okay.
I don't know if I should show it, but I can
No,
try to
I
find
don't.
it.
Yeah, we'll have to blur that one,
Right.
so we don't get like ultra demonetized. But right on. Okay, cool. That's another comic book inspiration, straight there. Let's see. Jack Wade talked about shooting the orgy scene in an interview, saying, "I was really looking forward to getting to dive into the storyline for the show, but shooting it was something else. Like, you think you're going to be comfortable with certain things, then you get there and you kind of realize that you're not so comfortable." He laughed sheepishly. But everyone was so lovely, and special credit goes out to all the background actors and the scene because they were longer than any of us, doing things that would make us make most people squirm and be very, very comfortable with. And they just committed 1000%. So, yeah, yeah. Annie, Erin Moriarty, who plays Starlight, said the same thing. She was like, it was like 5 days of all day shooting for those scenes. And she was like, it's just not even like at first you think, oh, this is gonna be fun. Everyone's naked. This is gonna be crazy. And then after like the first day, you're like, this sucks. Like this, I don't know how the background actors did it. I don't know how we made it through that. But yeah, here we are.
But I think it was genius though casting adult actors like that because they're comfortable being in that kind of environment. So I've made huge
For
sense. I
sure.
mean, whereas you just get like, oh, you're a background actor, great, okay, take all your clothes off and go do this. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, and then be there for, you know, 8 hours
Day.
on set or 15, 12 hours on set. And how long are you actually just naked on set? I don't know. But
It'd be
yeah,
so
that was
cold.
crazy. I know,
Yeah.
I know. That's what I was thinking too. I'd be like, I'd be freezing. There's no way. Yeah. Nah, I'm not even gonna go there.
And you're freezing. I'm thinking of a Seinfeld episode now. It
Yeah.
was cold.
Right. I know. I love that. Crazy thing too. So when this episode first aired, it got a 9.6 rating, which was the highest rated episode in the series up to that point.
That's hilarious.
Hmm.
Like there, I feel like that's not the best episode at that point, but that is hilarious that that is how people felt they needed to rate that one the
Yeah,
highest.
I know. But I will say, like, because this was talked about everywhere. Like if you watched any YouTube comic channel that read the boys, they were like, I don't know how they're gonna do this one. I don't know how they're gonna, or if they're gonna do it and all that stuff. And when they found, like, when we all found out they were going to do this, it was just like, what? How the heck are they gonna do this whole thing? And I think what came together was amazing because at the end, you get one of the most epic fights again with Homelander and Soldier Boy, and just like their dynamic
Yeah.
too. Like you first see them kind of, chirping at each other. And, I remember thinking, is Soldier Boy going to be strong enough to fight Homelander? And he's kind of not, but that's where you get Butcher in with him. And then even Huey at that time. And you're like, this is the first time you actually think that the boys can beat Homelander. And he gets away at
Hmm.
that last second.
Yeah. And he's like, "You think you're tough, bud? You're wearing a cape." Oh, I love that
Yeah.
so much. Well, and then the scene with
That's
MM when he confronts Soldier Boy because Soldier Boy was responsible for his dad's, passing in the show,
right.
and when he just like takes like sucks in the holothane or whatever and like throws it.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
great. And that pulled me straight from an episode of Supernatural because Jensen plays a character at one point where he's a demon and somebody's like, "Oh, you killed my dad. I'm going to kill you." And he's like, "What do you think was going to happen? You're going to stroll up here and say, 'My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepared to die.'" And it was like a similar kind of vibe. And I love
Okay.
that
Okay.
correlation, at least for myself and any other Supernatural fan. There's a ton of supernatural Easter eggs throughout. If you ever watch that show, you will
Yeah.
be surprised how much there is and how many black noirs in this show. I mean, there's so many
Oh,
characters that
wow.
are in both. Yeah.
That's amazing. There's like that would be a fun series right there. Just like all the connection between Supernatural and the boys. I'm sure you could
Oh,
like make a whole like podcast dedicated to that.
yeah. I sneak it in whenever I can on our Hops Geek News podcast. I've been doing it for years. Matt used to roll his eyes, and now he's all into it.
You won him over, you know?
Broke him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, the last thing I want to just shout out because I'm not sure if it pops up or how it or even if it does pop up in the comics is the whole storyline with A Train and Huey in this episode, and A Train also standing up to Blue Hawk, I think is his name, and Blue Hawk paralyzes his brother, and then at the end, Huey then kills him. No, sorry, A Train then kills Blue Hawk, and there's also like finally the apology of A Train to Huey for Robin's death.
Yeah, I don't think they really address that in the comic. I could, at least not through Omnibus 3. A Train seems like a complete D bag with no redeeming qualities in the comic.
Got
Uh,
it.
he's
Okay.
almost similar to the Deep in a way that he's doing whatever he thinks is kind of cool. Whereas the Deep in the
Mm,
comic is very stoic and barely has lines. He's wearing one of those
mm.
old school scuba diver helmets, which is obviously very impractical. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't think he gets like a redemption arc that I remember, and if so, halfway through the comic, he definitely hasn't.
Got it. Got it. Okay. That's pretty cool. I like it. I learned a lot about the true story of Herogasm, and that all these different cities they've referenced are not actual cities. They're just the title of the books. That's something different. And to this day, we still have, at least maybe somebody out there knows, an unanswered question as to what Homelander was going to say at his award. I hope we get that answer. Like
I'm
they're
sure we
not
do.
writing the, yeah, they're not writing the comics anymore, right?
No. They started a Dear Becky series when the after the show started that was like, about Becca. And I don't know that I bought some of them. I don't know if they kept going and my comic shop didn't put them in my box or if they just stopped doing it. I'll have to look into that. But no,
Mm,
they stopped the I believe the comic run was done by the time the show started. Yeah.
got it. Okay. Okay. Well, very cool. Well, that was a fun run through Herogasm. Very different. In some ways, I guess kind of same, but very different than what we got in the show. Yeah, let us know what you think about this one, what the differences were. If there's something we missed, please drop that in the comments. Thanks so much for checking out this episode. While Lauren sneezes, yeah, Lauren, I don't know if you want to say anything, but yeah, we'll wind it from here.
Yeah, we'll keep covering these through the show coming out. And we're going to learn about MM's origin and the female and Frenchie's origin in the rest of Omnibus 3.
Right on. Perfect. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you later.